What's up, guys? I'm gonna, pretty much give you a story on how I got into, learning theory and why I think you should learn theory. So, let's start out. Let's start out with my little story. So, when I was first learning this stuff, I was about 11 or 12, and it was a bore. I'll be honest. It was incredibly boring. And I don't remember what was boring about it. It's just that it was so boring to learn at that age. So, and I put it off for a couple of years. And when I was about 14 or 15, I started to get into it a little bit more again. And at that age, you understand things just a little bit more. And once I kind of realized how music theory is actually about, that kind of interested me. People say, yo, you need to learn theory to know what you're doing, and just to just know what you're doing, pretty much, know how to make music, which you don't need it to know how to make music. That's not one of the reasons what I'm gonna say, but what sparked my interest is just knowing what music theory is, and basically, what theory is how notes relate to one another. That's the basic principle behind music theory. That's what everything stands on. Why does this sound different than this? Right? Why does this want to resolve to this? Doesn't that sound satisfying when it goes to that next one? This is kind of like, and then you want to go, there you go. Right? Hopefully your ear can hear that. But that kind of sparked an interest with me is, why does that happen? Or how can I use that to my advantage? Really, that's what it's about, is using those to your advantage. Using these relationships between these notes and things like that. So, that kind of sparked my interest, and then from there, I'm completely self-taught when it comes to theory, because when I was taking guitar lessons, I mostly focused on technique and things like that. But it took me a while to get into theory. It took me until my middle teens to get into theory. So, basically, it's extremely beneficial. If you want to go into music professionally, if you want to make money on it, aside from like a band or something like that, if you want to, jam with other people too. If you want to jam with other people and things like that, you need to know the language of music. That comes to my first point. The first reason why you should learn music theory is to communicate professionally and properly with other musicians. Every other field on the earth has somewhat of its own language. In finance, if you're a stockbroker, you have to know what options are, you have to know what calls are, you have to know what puts are, you have to know, all these things, all these terms. It's like a language to them. And to us, it's kind of foreign, people who don't invest money and things like that. So, it's this kind of foreign language. We want our own foreign language as musicians. So, we use the language of music, of theory, I guess you could say. It's theory, but it's really just music is the language. So, putting names to all these different kind of things that you can do on here. Okay, so, and that's how you communicate with other people, is by learning theory. And then the second point that I'm going to come to is understanding what others and yourself are doing on whatever instrument they're playing. So if you're if you're learning some Jimi Hendrix stuff, this Purple Haze. Okay. That's a cool thing to learn, right? A G major, A major, and then we have this funky chord. Our guitar teachers always say, oh, that's just the Hendrix chord. It's an E7 sharp 9, but just call it the Hendrix chord, right? Why is it an E7 sharp 9? Those are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself when you're learning things, right? This is a really weird chord. to learn. This is especially when you're first starting out. What is this thing? E7 sharp 9. It's the Hendrix chord, and by asking yourself the question, why is it called an E7 sharp 9? That opens the door to so many other topics in music theory. You really have to start from the bottom. You have to start from the basics. What are notes, but what are the notes in music? What are the possible notes that I can choose from? So this will all be gone over in maybe other future videos. But for now, I just wanted to talk about my experience learning theory and why you should learn theory. So thanks for watching. Please comment, rate. We don't rate on YouTube anymore, but subscribe and for more guitar lessons and tips. So thanks for watching.